And if I were to tell you that our last TikTok got more views than an NHL arena seat number capacity, like, would you be really excited about that?
Yeah, that means we got like 25 to 30,000 views, no?
That would be one of our most viewed. But that's not quite what I mean.
Uh-oh.
Because we just got more than Mullet Arena, which is just a shade over 5,000, which is still good. But
What's Mullet Arena?
Mullet Arena is ASU Stadium, also the Coyote Stadium for the next 3 years.
Oh, you mean where the Arizona Coyotes had like their first ever musical production yesterday? And the reason why I say that is, did you see what those locker rooms look like? They look like the backstage of like a local music production.
Yeah, they're quite ugly. Like they literally look like a regular GTA arena. At least the home ones. And you're right, the away ones look like backstage.
Yeah, the away ones, they literally took like curtains that your grandmother would hang up to air out in the backyard, and they did that to divide partitions between players. It looked absolutely terrible. You think Downsview Arena looks better than that?
Yeah, I think it's honestly not that much different, because at least in Downsview Arena everyone has a hanger. I saw a picture. The guy sitting next to Clayton Keller, I think his name is McBain. He doesn't have hangers or a cubby. It was just wall, and then his name was taped up on like a piece of white brick.
Yeah.
It was so gross.
Zero lighting. I think all the sticks were just thrown together on the ground. Like players' skates were just piled up in the corner of the room.
There's no room.
I don't understand why they didn't put the Arizona Coyotes coming into the season knew that they were going to be the laughingstock of the league. Wouldn't they do everything they could to make it at least look semi-presentable? It looked like they made that away locker room the day before the game.
I think they're either in the process or did put $20 million into renovations of that arena already. So, I mean, they've tried. I don't know where that $20 million went. I don't know if it's because they're going to go on the road again in like a week for another month. So maybe that's when they'll change things up. But they are trying. Like, I think I read a report, $20 million, and ASU is not putting a single cent into it, and because the Coyotes don't have to.
And ASU recoups it all.
Yeah, it's actually such a deal for ASU. The Coyotes got walked all over because they have literally nowhere else to go.
All of that, and they don't even get to have their logo by themselves in the center ice circle. Did you see ASU has half?
I don't even know if they get sponsorship revenue for ice sponsors and board sponsors. I mean, maybe for the TV ones because they're fake, but the actual in-arena ones, I don't think they make any money off of that. It's actually such a joke.
Wow. And if it went bad to worse, like we saw last year what happened with the New York Islanders when they started their season, I think, like 15 games on the road in a row or something. I have to think that if these renovations are going to take place, that's kind of why Arizona started their first 4 or 5 games on the road. They probably came home so that they could at least have a home opener. And like you said, now they're going to go back on the road.
For another month.
They're already the worst team in the league. Like, there's a chance they go like 4-15 on the road before they come back home.
I would even if they played all their games at home, they'd probably still be the worst team in the league.
Oh,
but
undoubtedly.
The fact that they're literally not going to be at home until the end of November makes it way worse.
Okay, so I think we've aired out the Arizona Coyotes a lot. Maybe we'll look to the positives. I mean, I was wrong. There's 5,026 fans in their capacity, not 3,000. So we can double that a little bit. And it's pretty cool that they have like a whole dedicated section for students. Did you see this?
Oh, for college students?
Yeah, it's really cool. It looks like a really mini like NFL, like on a very micro scale, like an NFL section where like you have a bunch of students that are just looking to party, and it adds a little bit of vibrance to the game, which is cool because Arizona's been deprived of that for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the benefit of a 5,000 seater is that you're going to be sold out every game because that's usually what they get anyway. But if they can actually have some sort of atmosphere and have a little bit of a party section with some chants going or something, I mean, at the very least, at least it'll sound loud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For any of our viewers, I would say that are like 25 and under and you play NHL 2023, you'll know what EASHL is. Their arena really looks very close to like the second arena that you unlock in pro clubs for NHL.
I think we had a better arena last year, you and I.
And we grinded games.
Yeah. we were chipping the puck off the glass to get to the Junior C arena, and we outpaced the Coyotes already.
Oh man. I have a question. So we watched the home opener. We all know that overall, as positively as we can keep it, it does look sad that they're playing in that arena. Why didn't the Arizona Coyotes just lease time from another NHL stadium that was close? We see it with like the Clippers and the Lakers. In T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, a million different things use that arena. Why couldn't Arizona go to another team that was close and say, hey, can we borrow your arena for half of our home games this year?
I don't think they could have, because I don't know how scheduling would work. That's the first thing that came to mind. It's like, how are you gonna fit both teams have 42 home games or 41 home games? That's the first thing. Maybe there's a way to figure it out, because I don't know if hockey teams have shared stadiums in the past, but I know like soccer teams do. I think basketball teams do, like you said. So there might be a way, but is there even anywhere close enough to Arizona except Vegas? But Vegas is Vegas. Like, wouldn't they want to keep that to themselves because it is such an advantage?
So scheduling is the first thing that I thought was an issue as well. But then immediately, once I think of the Clippers and the Lakers, they each play 82 games as well, 42 at home. So it clearly can't be an issue. Ideally, you'd kind of want a team, I would think, that doesn't fill out their seats, number one, and whose fans aren't extremely diehard, because then you could share an arena. And the first thing that comes to mind is like the Anaheim Ducks are so close to Arizona Stadium. On my page right now, and you can look it up. You just Google a map of all the NHL teams in the league. You will see that there's only 4 or 5 NHL arenas on the west coast of the States. And the two closest ones to each other are the Phoenix Coyotes and the Anaheim Ducks. And it really, I don't understand why the Arizona Coyotes just didn't strike a deal with the Anaheim Ducks to try to play half their games there. I think it's a win-win, first and foremost, for the Anaheim Ducks. I'm sure they would get a huge share of the revenue from ticket sales, number one. They'd probably get to keep all of the beverage and food sales as well. And like number two, the only downside I could see it from the Anaheim Ducks is they might be worried that some of their fans may become fans of the new team that goes there.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Exactly. Is there anybody that is in a race to become an Arizona Coyotes fan?
Literally
right?
no.
So the Anaheim, this just seems like the perfect storm because it works for the Ducks. And when you look at it from the Arizona Coyotes standpoint, look, it's a lose-lose to be playing in a college arena or having to lease an arena from another team. However, from the perspective of maybe not looking like a laughingstock or maybe being able to attract a free agent, don't you think it's exponentially better to play in an NHL arena than it is to play in a 5,000 capacity college arena?
I think, yeah. I guess at first glance it would, because at least you're playing in a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. I never actually thought about leasing an arena or sharing an arena. It does happen in other sports, but I never thought about it. I wonder if maybe like Arizona, like the owners there, they seem a little shady. I wonder if they had a little bit too much pride to go away from their plan that they have there, because they do seem to be like very married to the idea of making things work in Arizona. I wonder if they didn't want to have to go to another owner with their tail between their legs and say, hey, can you help us out? I wonder if billionaires have pride, they have egos. I wonder if maybe that gets in the way. It could also just be logistics. Maybe they thought it was going to be too expensive to fly the team out to Anaheim, or to keep them in hotels all the time. At least if they're home in Arizona, players can stay in their houses. I don't know. There could be a million reasons. But from an optics perspective, it might have made sense to shell out that cash to have a presentable home game every once in a while.
I think every player on the Arizona Coyotes would be okay with that move. I think 3 or 4 of them have come out and said it's pretty embarrassing what they have to play in.
It is.
It is. I agree. When we think of it, the Arizona Coyotes couldn't continue to play in Phoenix. Where is it? Scottsdale? It's Phoenix, right?
I think they were playing in, I don't know if it was Phoenix. It's wherever Gila River Arena is.
Toledo? Is it Toledo?
I have no idea.
Whatever. Semantics. They're playing in Phoenix for all intents and purposes. They end up having to pay $20 million they have to end up paying $20 million to increase the availability of an arena that they don't even get to recoup the costs in, because they're given to the Arizona Coyote to whoever plays in Mullet Arena. I don't even know.
ASU.
It's so sad. And instead, I kind of feel like they could strike up a deal with Anaheim and say, like, look, if we don't, our lease payments would just be in the form of you literally collecting 40% of revenue and ticket sales and all of the food and beverage, because Anaheim would definitely net a profit on this, and it would allow Arizona to not have to pay lease costs that, at the worst, You don't even get to recoup. That's the sad part. It's the Mullet Arena is going to leave being better and having to pay no money.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it seems reasonable from the outside. I wonder what things would have held them back internally, because it does make sense. So there must have been something stopping them. Maybe Gary Bettman would have gotten in the way and said, hey, no, we can't have this happening. You got to stay in Arizona because we need to prove that it works. There could have been so many reasons, and I have no idea what they are. But from the outside looking in, sharing an arena makes sense. There must have been something internally, either on the Arizona side or the NHL side, that kiboshed it, if it was ever something that they were thinking about. I don't know, because it makes sense.
It's one thing if it was the Vegas Golden Knights. Then I agree. The Vegas Golden Knights, I believe, next to surprising the Seattle Kraken, and I think that's because they're both expansion teams, are among the top 2 in the league in selling out their tickets. So fine, I doubt Vegas would have anything to gain from that. But I looked it up, and Anaheim is 9th worst in the league in gate receipts. Like, they have trouble selling tickets.
They suck.
Right? They're terrible. And also, not the market for hockey in the West Coast past LA isn't huge.
It's not huge.
Right?
No.
I don't know. I thought it would work. Those are my 2 cents. Gary Bettman, if you're listening to this podcast, I would gladly accept a financial or logistical role within the NHL. Provided that I get to
with Gary Bettman through the microphone in my basement right now.
Provided that I get to maintain equity of the UFR podcast.
Oh God.
Because I can't leave my boys.
Okay. Businessman coming out in full force. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content, and find the link to our full podcast and all our socials in the description down below.
Also, don't forget to turn on those notifications to get live updates on new videos that we release.